Okay, so how to spot a better resale deal? I think resale is always something that most of us will go to because in the end of the day, if you buy something new, right, in terms of BTO, in terms of new launches, we have this portion that we need to rate. So a lot of times that in our videos, we always emphasize that a lot of customers that we meet, right, do not like to rent or do not like to move houses in between. So resale is always most of the go-to straightforward choice in terms of buying a property. But today I just want to share in the rest of the video later that how can we buy smart, how can we spot a better deal and buy safe so that it will help you in your terms of exit when you want to sell your property. But of course in the long run maybe we will say that we do not want to sell, we just want to stay. But for us as a realtor, we will always advise our client that we must always look at the exit, which I'm going to touch on later. So let's dive in. Again, a bit of the disclaimer, everything I share is based on my own opinion and my own research. If you want to do yourself, please seek professional advice and let's dive in. So most buyers, when we go into a resale property, we will start here lah. In terms of the negotiation, first we always go to a listing, correct? We see next listing, there's always this thing called the asking price. So when we do resale, right, buyer will, although they come and they will set up the filter that before they inquire in terms of their budget, all these things. So once again, how they start, right, when they come to my listing, they will always say, so in the end, what is the seller asking? So again, we will always tell them. Then from there, we will start to negotiate. This is always the step lah in terms of negotiation. From there, we will ding dong there. Under that, when the seller and the buyer, the price meet, then we will actually close the deal lah. But now you need to ask a question. From the asking to the closing price, right? Are you getting a good deal or not? Because of course, there are things that we follow, like the transaction over there. Then anything that we feel is the right price, then we got a deal done. Is that really a good deal? This is something that you need to take note lah, because in the end, it will affect your exit. So we will start somewhere else. Today for us, right, we always have some fundamental when we bring a buyer to buy a resale in terms of private lah. So we're not talking about HDB, we're talking more on a private, how to buy safe. HDB is another topic we will cover next time. So we will want to find the seller entry. What is seller entry? Seller entry is always like how much the owner bought, because that will affect the buffer they have. But doesn't mean they will sell lower lah, but in terms that we quite have a chance. But mostly when we buy, right, today you want to learn one thing is the exit. Because if we buy something that we cannot exit, meaning what? Some of the video we always emphasize also that we will like our clients, right, to buy something that someone can buy from us, or something that when you buy, right, that next time you are able to sell. So what do I mean by that? For example, let's look at a case study. I use multi-modern, a D9 in River Valley. So there is 2 units, same size, same stack, right? But they are just 1 floor apart. So meaning they are just below each other lah. So at January, right, and March, it's actually 2 months apart only. And the transacted price is almost 140,000 difference. So today you might be asking, so technically, right, can I say that the buyer who buy this unit actually got a better deal? Because the one who are buying just 1 floor higher costs 140,000 difference. So today I can ask you, why that this person cannot buy something that is more nearer to this lower floor? Because it's just 1 floor different. The view, the thing might be almost similar. From there, actually it's not the unit. I want you today to look, right? Today the one that is the lower floor, right? When they bought the house, right, the seller that bought it, they got it at 2.8 million. And the one that's 1 floor higher, right, got the unit at 3.6 million in just 7 months apart. So today I ask you, if the seller that bought at 3.6 million, you ask him to sell at 3.5, is it easy or not? I mean, if you put yourself in the seller perspective, you might also want to sell because today, in a way, we will call like, if I lose money, I sell for what? Unless I really need to. But most likely, in terms of what I know, usually people will choose to hold unless a better price come across. But whereas this buyer, right, which got it almost 700k different from their buying, right, can have more buffer, which is why he is able to accept about 3.56 million, and which is almost the gap between the gap between the seller, right, because I think the buyer seller a bit complicated. The gap between the seller, right, of their initial purchase is almost 800. So this creates a buffer, a gap for negotiation. But doesn't mean that they might sell cheap But main thing is, you know that seller have some room, is making a lot of profit. Maybe there's a chance that maybe we can negotiate more. These are some of the things, but it's not guaranteed. Because one thing I need to highlight, in terms of resale, right, we have fundamental, we have strategy. But main thing is, we cannot use fundamental and strategy, right, to force a seller to sell at a price that we want. Because in the end of the day, seller still be the one who decide what are the price that he or she can accept. Yeah, correct. Then that's why I want to say that resale, if you want to get a good deal, luck plays a very huge in a way I would say, plays a huge part, because we have the skill, but we need the luck. That's why it's very hard to find a resale good deal in the market, because no one want to sell cheap, even they make a lot of money. Okay, so number one, so we only have more buffer, more flexibility. So now you need to find a good deal, right? Means we have to find the seller that is a good buyer. Because why? Because the seller that was 2.877, right? He bought a new launch that is a good deal. That's why I say he's a good buyer. So these are the things that we also as our job, right, to identify new launch that have this type of price gap. For example, if you have gone through our land price, understand land cost video, right, you see how we identify new launches, right, that is more safe to buy, because we know that the future land cost and the future price that they're going to launch is going to be our purchase price. But when we buy at the purchase price at a better location, are we safer? Because people will compare. Today, if you buy something more expensive, but the location is further out, must I buy something good now where I know that the price is going to move? Because in the end of the day, when it comes to resale, people will compare location. And better location, better attribute, we can actually take advantage of it. If you have, you're keen to learn about the land cost, right, do check out our older video. We have actually touched on that. So that's why we want to focus on this exit. Exit is something I don't know whether a lot of people touch on, because a lot of people touch on the entry, the price. But entry price, how can we determine our entry price? Because entry price is the price that you feel that you can enter. But now, is you want to know if today I come into this price, can I sell later or not? On day one, you should know if can. And it's the safest for resale. Why? I give you an example. If the person that bought at 3.7, the multi-modern, right, they need to sell at 3.8, 3.9. So friends, 3.8, 3.9 is a new benchmark for you need to hope because every new benchmark means it's not proven yet. Means not proven yet means hope. Hope to me is always risk. Must remember, because today hope to sell is dependent on market. If you are always buying based on hope, I think this is something that you will need to be very careful. And now we take a look at example so that you can understand how it works. I use Panorama and Ang-Mo-Kio, right? So you see the new and the resale during this timing, right? Actually the price gap is not as big. Meaning here, people who buy at this 1.7 and 1.8, this I think it's still okay, because the gap between the new launch is still quite close. But imagine today you are buying at a 2.6 million. Means you are the high price. You are like I say, you are buying the high price. Can you see your exit or not? Your exit means you need to sell higher. You see, you need to sell higher, like 2.8, 2. Anything higher than 2.6 lah. But the owner that enter about 1.6, 1.9, they can sell lower. This is something that we can't control because seller decide the price they're willing to accept. So today, if you are someone that are looking at the resale market, if you are one that's gonna set the record, then you must ask yourself, is there any transaction out there that you feel that why you want to set a record? Unless the unit is good or something that fits everything component of your life in the 5 to 10 years, because and you must the market is continue bullish and your development continue bullish, because we cannot predict how the market work for resale It's very dependent on the market. So you must always understand the people that buy lower than you. This is one of the risks for resale, because they can always sell at your you enter or somewhere lower. This will actually affect the valuation of the whole development because as a buyer, right, today you put yourself in the shoe, right? The buyer use what to get the price that is relevant. It's always the transaction in the development They will refer to that Then from there, what they do? They will use that one to try to offer lower Because buyer mentality is always buyer want to buy what? Cheap, good deal. They will offer lower one. So easy. So if you have entered at 2.6 or 2.8 for example, right? Are you putting yourself in a very bad spot? This is something that you need to think about it. So like you say again, just now people who buy they can sell at 2.6 because they got more room, more flexibility. But for you who buy at 2.8, cannot, because the only way is go up. And you need to set a new benchmark, which is something that we cannot predict. So before you buy any resale, right, I feel, of course, this one seller entry is very important. Like you know that which unit, right, seller bought how much, then how they are sitting. This is just number one. The main thing is always exit, because from there, right, you even for example right, everyone is transacted at 1.6, 1.6, and you are the first one who go at 1.8 means you need to set a new benchmark next time if you want to exit with a profit. This is something that you must take note. But if you are buying, everyone buy 1.6, you buy 1.6, you are just at the line, benchmark line. You're not buying below the benchmark, because resale, there are people buying lower than you So you need to know how far are you from there. But of course, if you do a 20 years old, 50 years old, of course the gap is very big So you try to just take note of how is the transaction over there. Try to go as near as there and go below as a buyer. If not, then you have to make sure you set a new benchmark. Because the main thing is for resale, it's always harder to set a new benchmark because every year the development is getting older. This is number one of the resistance force for your price. Second, the people who buy, right, buyers want to buy low so they will always negotiate. So that's why when resale time, right, the price fluctuation is very, very slow unless there is a huge wave of demand right into the development. So maybe someone will tell you, if I don't sell, right, for example, because I got any client say, I just buying here for own stay. I don't care if it lose or don't make. It doesn't matter to me because it's own stay for maybe 10 years horizon. Then if I don't sell, I don't lose my money as long as I can hold and it's actually somewhere is true but because you don't sell, you don't your thing. You wait for the next wave which you can see from some of the video, right? You can hold long, right, to 10 years, right? Maybe you can come back. But main thing I need to ask you if you don't sell, you don't lose, correct? You don't lose your money. But one thing you will lose, right, is you lose time. This is something that I want to emphasize on because today we don't know how long when will be the next wave. So I take this example of the last time I come Composite. So Composite is a resale So technically there was a drop here. So today, if you are someone who bought here at the example, this is 1213 this moment. Why the price dropped, right? Is because government implemented a cooling measure and actually softened the whole resale market, whole in a way. Then that's when the wave coming. So from there, it will cause a drop. So from here to the next high, actually almost 10 years. This is something that you are called losing your time, and sometimes we call it you stuck because again, we don't want to clock our losses. So sometimes when we want to sell house, we want to sell. We always, client will hey, did my house make money? Are we sitting on a profit? All these things. Then no profit, I sell for what? No profit, I do for what? Unless only certain circumstances that they have to move to some place near school. Usually more on the needs then they will move. If not usually people only take advantage of their profit before they make the next move, which is why it's so important, right, for us, right, to my clients that they are exit because I need to tell them in the end of the day, if they are going into this unit, right, if they be the benchmark, right, or setting gonna be a new record, right, I need to tell them this is the risk, because I don't want them to start to later when they buy into it, the next 5 years they saw the price didn't go up, or maybe the price drop or what. Increase is good, but I need to tell them these things might happen. At least they know they're buying into. Not that when they buy already, then suddenly price drop, then everyone reset . This is something. Main thing when you buy property, I feel that we have to have clarity. This is something that I feel is more important. So, in terms of working with us, right? For me and Dylan, right? We do have a framework to find so that resale define seller, so the right seller, so that you can have a better exit. So what you mean the right seller? Today, example, we know development that is in the sellers, in the buyer's market. Sorry, buyer's market means what? Buyer has an advantage. So but doesn't mean you can get a good deal, but doesn't mean the location you like. So this is something that resale, that's an issue. That's because people who want to go for resale, right? Definitely what? They want to find their location they want, the needs that they need, they want. But sometimes, if you want to get a good deal, the location may not be something you want, but it's a good deal. This is something that we need to sit down and discuss, but we have the skill to find the right seller. But whether the seller can give us a good price, that one we try. This is something that. Number 2, new launch. Like just now you see the multi-modern, right? The one that buy at 2.8 plus, and next 7 months, the whole price jumped by 800, almost 800k, right? For new launch is find the right entry so that you can have a better exit. But both is exit. Same objective. Meaning exit strategy. So today when you buy property, right, don't ask, hey, is this a good price? Is it cheap or not? It's always asking, can I exit? Because if you go through the last video we talked about, the previous Lucent Grant, right? We talked about exit, right? Affordability gap between the HDB owner that's gonna will they in the next 5 years, right? Are they able to afford Lucent Grant or not? Because in there, people who buy at a 2.6, 2.3 million, if they want to sell at a 2.8 million, all these things, right? Example, you need to go back to a video, right? You can see that there is some resistance because the affordability gap cannot match. Means the upgraders might not be able to consume Lucent Grant. This is something that we look into in terms of our data. So once I think I'm almost at the end of the video. So today, I think the one key thing that you have to learn from this video is the exit law. And today, if you are looking for properties, if you are in the midst of thinking to enter or not enter the market, or maybe you want something that is safe, and feel free to contact us. This is my QR code. And once again, I'm Matthew. See you soon.